Hello and happy Wednesday, everyone. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thank you guys for changing your schedule for me. I know a lot of you are making note that we're now Monday night and Wednesday at noon. And today is going to be a super fun day because I get to make a mini slimline card using our brand new kit and the two brand new Master Layouts die sets. So I'm just looking at the comments here and I see people coming in from all over the United States and all over the world, Germany, Texas, from Mexico. Welcome, welcome everyone. So today is going to be pretty fun and it's going to be a very clean and simple card, but I am going to do quite a bit of die cutting. I am really digging the Master Layout 6 die set and how to build scenes. So I have a few pieces of cardstock in my drawer over there that I'm going to grab in just a second. And we're going to actually do quite a bit of die cutting. And then I'm going to show you a mini slimline trick using our dies and how to use the grass elements and, well, the hill elements and the mountain elements and still be able to have all that pretty stitching going around the corner. Now, I tried it first by actually building the whole card and then trying to cut it out with the die. That didn't work very well because I had about, 5 or 6 layers of cardstock all piled up and it didn't cut as well as I would have liked it to cut. So I have another tip that I'm going to show you today and hopefully it'll work out just great. We'll see. I kind of wing it here on Stampin' Chat Live, but we always get there in the end together. So anyway, welcome everyone. Let's get started. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use today. So here I have, let me zoom out. I'm already sure that my overhead is too close. So let's go to the overhead. There we go. Okay. I'm going to use this stamp set. Once again, this is the Woodland Friends stamp set from the kit. I think for this card, I'm going to use the cute little deer and I'm going to use the greeting, "You're so dear to me," because I really think that that is something that I would definitely send to people, especially right now where you can't really get together with a lot of people as much as you used to. So I'm going to use that. And then here's that little slimline, that mini slimline that I had made the other day on our release party. This is kind of my reference. And you might want to do this. Once you get your dies, cut out all the pieces and do a little layout just so you remember how they all can fit together. Of course, there's dies missing here, but this is just one of the layouts that I really like. So I wanted to keep this close by. And then I put my, let's see, I've got this we need, and I think that's all we're going to need from the kit today. So I'm going to put the kit aside for now, although I love all of this beautiful cardstock. So a couple of the colors I'd like to use: Lucky Clover, Tangerine Twist, and then I think I'm going to add a couple other colors from my collection. So it's nice to have these colors to try them, but I always like to use lots of colors for my cards. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here, let me grab some other colors out of my drawer here. I definitely am going to use some, well, this is Ocean Mist. That would be a nice color to use. You can see the difference between that and Sea Glass. Ocean Mist is a little more powdery and Sea Glass is a little more on the turquoise side. So either one will make a beautiful sky. And let's see, or well, let's see. I want to use some orange. I have orange over there. I might want to use a second color green. So I do have some Jelly Bean here. And I do kind of like the way Jelly Bean and Lucky Clover go together. And then I'm also thinking about doing some mountains. And with mountains, I really like grays for the mountains. So here's a gray. Now we could do 2 sets of mountains. And so we could do a light gray like that. And then we could also add, well, here, this is the lighter gray. Let's see here. We could do a darker gray, maybe even a lighter gray than that. Let me take a look here at what I have. I've got some of this, which is the soft stone, but maybe if I accent the peaks of the mountains, we won't need to do that. So let's see where it goes from here. Okay, so I have a bunch of colors of cardstock. And you know, if you guys like building these little scene cards, I highly recommend just taking a night when you don't have a whole lot of mojo and just cutting lots of elements out. Cut the sun out, cut the branches of the bark of the tree, cut, you know, all the little pieces and have just drawers of them that you can pick through. Okay, so for our mini slimline, the size of the card, this is my slimline card, the size of the card that we want to make is a 6.5 by 6 1/4. Okay, so that's the square that we have to cut. We have to cut at 6.5 inches. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to turn it and cut it at 6 1/4 inches. So I believe that's right about there. That should be pretty close. Let's make sure. Yeah, it looks pretty close to that. Okay. That's the only number that I can't see on my paper cutter is the 6 1/4. Of course, the one that I need, but let me move this out of the way. We don't need that in our way. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to score this card base. All right. So this is a 6.5 inch going across this way by 6 1/4 inch this way. We want to go on the 6.5 inch and we want to score it at 3 1/4 inches. That's going to take it in half. Okay. And then I'm going to fold that. Now I'm just going to check it. Before I make this whole card, I just want to check and make sure it's going to fit in my mini slimline envelope, and it certainly will. It's going to be the perfect size. Here we go. And I have to make sure, because we're going to be giving this card away today at the end of the live, I have to make sure I'm able to send it to you. Okay, so now we're going to do some die cutting. Now the first thing we're going to do is cut our sky. So should I go with the ocean mist or should I go with sea glass? I want you guys to tell me which color you think you'd like to see. And I will get my die cutting tools together while you guys are answering. Sea glass or ocean mist for my sky. Now, of course, if you really want to get fancy, you can ink blend your sky. So that's always pretty too, because if you ink blend, you get more texture and a little bit of white showing and stuff. I mean, you can do that. All right, everybody's saying ocean mist. So we're going to go with ocean mist. I did do sea glass in the last card, so we'll do ocean mist for this one. Now let me get my mini slimlines out. I took them out to show everybody, and then I didn't take them out and package them in my my usual way. So when you get them, they come with this little folder. If you like to keep that with them, you certainly can. But I'm going to just pull these out of the bag. So they're like double packed inside that bag. This way nothing can get lost. Okay, so I'm going to cut my ocean mist with the stitched mini slimline long rectangle die. And we're going to be using this die for more than just that cut. And I'll show you how we're going to do it. So my plates are really getting bad again. All right, so I'm going to cut this out with the ocean mist. So this is going to create my sky. And this is going to be the whole background of my card, too. We're going to start with that. And this way, I kind of have a like a size gauge of where to put the grass and where to put the other things. So, okay, so here's our ocean mist piece. Now, the next step is to create a little hill. So I'm going to create the hill using the hill die from the Master Layout 6. And I will use some Lucky Clover. So let me cut this piece of Lucky Clover in half. This big sheet here that came in the kit. Okay. So with these dies, I kind of like to cut them just on the side, but you can cut them anywhere you want. But it is nice to cut them kind of with the blade side up, and then just put your cardstock on top. All right, so we'll do that. Cut that one first. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to cut more than one of these. Okay, so there's one. And then I'm just going to trim that down a little bit because I don't know how far up I want my grass to come, but I'm just going to pick a spot. It doesn't have to come up too far. So I'll probably cut it to right about there. I'm just going to put a little crease in it with my nail so I know where to cut it. So I'll grab my paper cutter and I'm just going to cut it right off to the side here. You guys don't need to see me cut that, but I am going to cut it straight. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's cut. That's my first one. Now I'm going to cut a second hill. So I'm going to do the same thing again. And this hill can be a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be quite as high because I want them to kind of layer together. I'll show you what I mean. So again, I'm cutting this blade side up. You don't have to, like if you have a Gemini, one of those electric machines, they cut the most intricate dies without having to kind of finagle things around on your plate. They're pretty amazing. They use a lot of pressure. All right, now I'm going to cut this one. Let me move this out of the way because I do want to show you what I'm doing here, and I'm going to have to pull it right back. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one down a little bit smaller. All right. So you can see what I mean, right? Okay. Now, we're going to trim these using the Mini Slimline die. All right, so I'll show you how I'm going to do this. So the shorter one, I'm going to cut using the Mini Slimline die. This is the same stitch die that I used before. I'm going to cut it off to one side, and I'm going to cut the whole thing. See what I'm saying? I'm going to cut the whole bottom here, like that. So this whole section. All right. I'm going to get that in there. All right. Now, by cutting the hill out like that, you can see I've got the stitches in there that are going to line up perfectly. You see that? They're perfect. Okay. Now, my second one, I don't have to be quite as careful, but I do want it to be a different position, if that makes sense. So I don't want to cut it in the same exact spot so that the hill is going the same way. I kind of want to cut it on the other side. So one hill is going down and one hill is going up. And I don't really have to worry as much about lining it up perfectly. I just have to, do it anywhere I want. But I can if I want. I can line it up over here, and then that's going to be a perfect match. But this one's going to go behind. So if the bottom wasn't perfect, it wouldn't matter. Okay. I'm going to get my blending brushes out too. We're going to add a little bit of ink in here, and that's going to help you be able to see things a little bit better. So now I've got this one and this one together, and you can see that makes two hills. And again, if you put them up to the bottom of the card here, all that stitching is still perfect. It's hard to hold, but when I tape it down, you'll see what I mean. Okay. So now let me get rid of my scraps here. I don't want to lose my hill. This die, don't throw it away. It's easy to, these are really skinny little dies, and keep track of them as you're throwing scraps away. Or just don't throw any scraps away ever, and then you won't have that problem. Okay, so we're going to assemble this actually, we're going to do the mountains next. So let me find the gray that I want to use. I'm going to use, this is Stormy Sky. I think this is the perfect gray, although you could do brown mountains too. So either one, if you like gray, do gray. If you like brown, do brown. But I'm going to do gray for these. So here is my mountain die. This is another one. Kind of looks like a bad EKG. Doesn't it, Tom?
I guess it depends who you are.
This kind of feels like I've seen this on us before. Okay, so let's do it upside down. It does look like a really bad EKG.
Or a rough stock year.
Yeah, rough stock year, exactly. All right, so I want this to be higher. I don't know how high yet, but I definitely want to cut it up higher. I don't know how high up I want my mountains. Okay. All righty. Oh, hey, girls from the Keller House Retreat. Did you see my shout out on release party night? It's great to see all of you. Okay, I'm just going to pull that apart because I don't need all of that. And you can see I'm going to use both of these together because it'll look like two different mountain ranges. All right. And now we're going to cut these out. Okay. So now we have to decide how far up we want the mountains to go. So maybe we only want them to go up about this far. You know what I'm saying there? Like about there. So we'll cut the first one so that it's right about here. Let's cut it a little longer. I'd rather cut it longer than shorter. We can always trim the bottom off. You're not going to see the bottom at all, but let's be safe rather than sorry. It still seems a little long, but. And you can judge by taking your highest hill and putting it there. See, there we go. That'll look good. So we've had an alarm going off at work all day today. It's been driving me nuts. I hear it again. And we don't know exactly what it is, but Tom might have to slip out for a second to go see what's going on. And then once he figures that out, he'll come back. So comments won't scroll for me until he comes back. So I'm just going to keep talking. All right, so now we have our mountains, and you can see here is our hills. See what we're doing? We're just building this fun little look. Aren't they cute, the little mountains in the background? All right, let's do the other one, the other side. So for the other side, we want to make sure we go up a little higher. So we'll go right about there. And I made sure that I had mountains coming up in spots where the mountains go down over here. Okay. So, what am I doing here? Like all of a sudden I have no strength to push this through. Oh. All right, so I think we're done cutting all of this part of the scenery. So that will go like that. And then this, and then this. So lots of layers, but still all the stitching is absolutely perfect. But you can see why trying to cut this out with 5 layers of cardstock would probably not be a good thing. Maybe you can get away with like 1 or 2, but you know, 1 or 2 extra, but 5, that's not going to happen. So there you go. We've got all these layers and that stitching is just perfect. Isn't that fun? Okay. So now let me move this away for a second because we're going to assemble this part of the card and then we'll get back to some more die cutting. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to accent some of this. So I'm going to get my blending brush, my green blending brush. And I'm going to get some fresh asparagus. I'm screaming because my back is turned to you. I'm going to get some fresh asparagus ink because we want this to show up. So I'm going to get a little ink on my brush, and then I'm going to gently edge the hill here. We used to do this kind of thing back in the old days of stamping with a sponge, but it works really nicely with a blending brush too.
Well, I bet you could edge those mountains with some white pigment ink.
That's exactly what I'm going to do, Tom.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. That was my big surprise of the whole live.
I'll be leaving now.
It's okay. I like that you think like a crafter. That's pretty cool. Okay, so there you go. Now you can see the difference in the hills, right? So that really helps. And that'll dry up just a hair lighter. If you don't like it that dark, you can go with a lighter green. But I kind of like the depth that that produces. All right, so now we're going to see how this works. I have a blending brush in here somewhere that has white ink on it. I don't know where that went. Uh-oh. I don't know where that brush went. Well, I'm going to use a different one then. I'm going to use this one with the, oh, this was it. I found it. Okay. Let me find my white ink pad. You know why I know that this is it? I think this had ivory on it and it's a little crusty. But you can just kind of fluff it back up again if they get a little crusty. All right, so now I'm going to use some white ink. Get some white ink on that brush. And I'm going to add a little bit right to the tops of the mountains.
A little freezing in YouTube.
Oh no.
It's back.
We're not freezing here yet. Yet. Okay, so now I have some little white caps there. It could be a carbon dioxide monitor. I hope not, but it could be. Do you know what it is, Tom? You got it all figured out?
It's the no.
You sounded so confident. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of white on the mountains. Isn't that fun? Yeah, sorry it's freezing there. It's not us this time. I can safely say that today. For some reason, it's not us. We are moving forward. We did have a call in to get our node fixed, and I think we're having some good results here. So I don't know if they fixed anything or not. Okay, so now I'm going to start layering this backwards with the tallest piece, the mountains. Okay. And of course, if you don't want to use so much tape for these, you can always use glue. Especially with our 100-pound cardstock, you're not going to get any warping or anything. Especially if you use the Connect. Okay, so there's our first layer with those mountains. And then here's our second layer of mountains. Make sure the stitches are all lined up. This looks like a place I want to visit, Tom.
All right.
Here's my highest hill.
Do you clean your brushes after every use, Denise wants to know?
I don't clean them after, I never clean the colored ones. I only just rub them off on a paper towel before I'm ready to use the next color, but I do have one for all 10 major color families like reds and oranges and yellows and stuff like that. I should clean this because it's got pigment ink on it and it dries a little crusty, but I just kind of fluffed it up and it seemed to work just fine. So the answer is, do I? No. Should I? Maybe. But I'm not struggling with not cleaning them. So I don't think you need to. All right, so there's my little scene so far. So how do you like it? Pretty good so far? Okay. All right, so now we're going to cut out the sun, and we're going to cut out a couple of clouds, and we're going to cut out our black background panel. So it is a lot of die cutting, but I've really been enjoying die cutting. Yes, the Master Layout 6 is its own product, and you can buy those. They're in the What's New category. Some things are on the second page of What's New because we did release a lot of things. So if you don't see them right there, make sure you click over to page 2. Okay, so we need the sun. Let's do the sun. We'll do that out of Tangerine Twist. And I just cut this sheet in half. All right. I love this sun die so much. I think it's so adorable. I do like to cut things upside down. You know me. I just feel like you get a better cut. So if you're struggling, just try it. Try flipping it around. Okay. Here we go. There's that cute little sun. Isn't that so cute? I just love the bright little rays, the way the rays come out. So cute. All right, and then we're going to take some white cardstock here, and we're going to cut out a couple of clouds. I'm going to have to do a much bigger card coming up, too, so that I can do like a full scene with a bunch of trees and things. I don't even know if I'll use both of these clouds. I'll cut these face down. Not that it matters, but these aren't very intricate. They don't have little things jutting out of them the way the sun does. All right. And these two clouds are different. You can also cut these out of green and layer them together to make like kind of a fluffy tree, or you can make them one of those trees that has that kind of short top. Now, I'm going to put this away again, but you know it's coming back out because we're not done. All right. So if I put the sun here and I do a little cloud in front of it, I think that will be enough. Now, if you wanted to do another cloud like this, what I would suggest is to cut it with that die, the die with the stitching. And then just line it up so the stitching is consistent going across. Should I do that? I could do it. Let's do it, because I have to cut the black one out anyway, and it kind of looks cute with the two clouds. So let's do it. Okay, and I gotta find a piece of black cardstock here too for the back part. Oh, by the way, you guys don't have to yell at Wendy anymore. Wendy now loves all of the black accents. So for those of you that that are yelling at her, you don't have to yell at her anymore. She's come to the dark side. She loves all the black accents that I do now. She's gonna kill me. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this out just like this. Just gonna add a little bit of stitching in there, and then I'll line it up where it needs to be lined up, if that makes sense. Okay. I don't know, I feel like the card just looks prettier when you can see all the stitching. So see how that cloud has the stitching in there? Let's zoom in a bit. See that? Cloud has the stitching, and then you find that spot exactly where you want it, and you just line it up so that the stitching is perfect on the edge there. That's just me being silly, but I like the way it looks. Not gonna lie. Okay, now we need to cut the plain panel. So this is the stitched one, and here is the plain one. So we're going to cut the plain one using black cardstock. I'm going to cut it this way. And I'm going to just turn it a little bit. I know it feels like it's a waste of black, but I use black for words and all kinds of things. So I will use this piece of cardstock up. I'm not worried about it. But it just makes it go through the machine a little easier if it's on an angle. Okay. My plates are dirty, that's for sure. Okay. So there we go. That's going to go together like that.
Looks like our next bike ride.
It does. I would love to bike there. I'll be biking down here on the flat parts of the hill, like down here, and you'll be on your way up here.
Ouch.
Okay, so next we're going to do the animal. And the animal I want to do today is the deer. I'm just in the mood to cut the deer. I'm in the mood to play with the deer. So we're in the mood to color the deer. So we're gonna stamp the deer. I don't know what block is gonna work, but I've got a few here. And of course, you can always use your Misty if you feel more comfortable. Oh, he'll fit right on that square one. Could do a little mushroom too. That would be so cute. There are some really cute elements in here. There's mushroom, there's leaves, there's, what else is there? There's a little acorn. It's so cute. So I'm going to use some black onyx ink. I have not stamped this one yet, so. It's pretty good stamping for the first pass. We could do a little mushroom. We've got time. It's only 12:32. Let's add a mushroom. What color should I do the mushroom? I feel like I want to do it something bright like red. Are red mushrooms poisonous, Tom?
Are they poisonous? Probably a good bet, yes.
All right, we're going to do a poisonous mushroom then today. Because I feel like I want a little red in this card. And who cares? It's stamping. We can do whatever we want, right? We can do it however we want. All right, so I'm going to use colored pencils and Gamsol for this. So all my creative artist friends, just look away. Who don't like Gamsol. All right, I need a nice brown. So let's see. Is this a good brown here? I like to just test the colors. That might be a little dark. I don't think I need to go quite that dark. Here's chocolate. I think that might be better. And then I think I want to do, maybe I'll just do like a, do that for the mushroom. Yeah, I'll do that. And then I need a gray too. So I'm just randomly picking some colors here. That'll work. Okay, so I'll tell you the colors as I go if you want to actually do these colors. But of course, you can do whatever colors you want. And some of you may prefer to not have a poisonous mushroom. And that's fine. Be like that. You can do that. And I have my Gamsol right here. All right. I also need a tan. Do I have a tan? I don't even know if I have tan. Do they make tan in Prismacolor pencils? They must. I have the whole set. So let's look here in the flap and see if there's a tan that maybe I've been avoiding. I'm not seeing a tan, guys. You guys have tan pencils in your collection? Maybe it's more like a yellow tan. Like maybe something like this color here. This is called Beige Sienna. Yeah, that'll work. All right, Beige Sienna it is. Probably should sharpen that. I must have used that once. There's a lot of colors that I don't use, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're kind of glad you have them. Okay, so we're just gonna color his little head here. That music's nice, Tom. I talked to Sammy. She has not started taking guitar lessons yet, so.
It goes for both of us.
We'll do the little outsides of his ears. Her ears. I don't know. She kind of has, looks like a little eyelash or a little winged eyeliner. It's kind of nice. So is the front of a deer tan? Does anybody know? Because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. It's probably a good idea to, like, look at a picture of a deer before you start coloring a deer. Are their feet kind of white? I don't know. Am I thinking of reindeer? Is there such a thing as reindeer? I don't even know.
Wow.
I know. I'm a city girl, born and raised in Philadelphia. I don't think I ever saw a deer until I moved out to Wisconsin. Were there a lot of deer around you, Tom?
Where I grew up?
Yeah.
No. There were a lot of cars and trucks.
All right, I'm going to stop there. So what are people saying? Yes, tan or white. The front is white. Okay. All right, that's good. So maybe if I just add like a little tan kind of down here. A little tan here. We'll kind of blend that out and make that look almost a little whitish. We'll do the same here. And remember, this is crafting, so it's not like we have a quiz where somebody is, my deer is a fawn because of the spots. Oh, they only have spots when they're a fawn? Oh boy, my city is showing. My growing up in Philly is showing. I bet all the people I know here in Wisconsin knew that. I'm an embarrassment to the state. Okay, Gamsol to blend it out. Give it some texture. I like that. Gamsol makes everything look better. I love Gamsol. My little fawn here, my baby. Yeah, I like this. We'll keep those spots white. I forgot that these spots were here, and I was thinking, how am I going to make with the white spots? I just thought all deer had white spots. Well, maybe they all do at some point in their life, the early parts. Okay.
You have to use special paper with Gamsol.
No, you don't. I'm using the Gina K Designs 80-pound layering weight cardstock. So that's how I'm coloring that guy. Okay, I'm going to flip my lid. I'm going to flip my stick, my blending stump. I'm just going to sand off that little bit of pink that was on there. And I'm going to color these light parts in. Just blend those in a little bit. Kind of like the softness of that. Gives it a little bit of a whitish hue. And then because I am crazy, I want to do just a little bit of pink on the cheeks. I know they don't have pink cheeks, but I think it's cute. I'm going to use that same blending stump and just blend that a little bit just to make him or her a little rosy. Don't you think that's a cute little touch? Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so we'll stop blending the deer there. And then I'm going to use a little red for the mushroom. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the colors I'm using. So for the brown, I used chocolate. For the lighter parts of the deer, I used Beige Sienna. For the cheeks, I used pink, very creative Prismacolor pink. And then I'm using Crimson Red for the mushroom. I just feel like it's going to stand out a little bit more if it's red. Because, I mean, aren't most mushrooms like gray and brown? They're not like super colorful. Maybe there are colorful ones. Maybe this really is a poisonous mushroom. And then I'm going to use 50% warm gray for the stem of the mushroom. So I'll start with that same blending stump I used for the light parts of the deer, and I'm just going to blend out the little stem here. And then I'll go back and I'll get the red parts. This is very tiny, so I'm not even sure it's worth all this blending, but it does have a little bit of dimension when you blend like that. Danita, you can use any kind of colored pencil that is a wax-based pencil or even an oil-based pencil, but for this you wouldn't want to use like a watercolor pencil. You can, but just use water instead of Gamsol, because water kind of does the same kind of thing with watercolor pencils that Gamsol does with a waxed-based pencil. All right, so we have our little images. Hey, Kathy Z, how are you? I looked up and I saw your nice comment. Thank you so much. Thank you for your beautiful cards this release, too. Holy cow. Your beautiful cards in your video. Check out Kathy Z's channel if you haven't already. CZ Design. She's amazing. Amazing YouTuber, amazing card maker. She hasn't been making cards all that long, just a few years now. And she blows me away. All right, now I'm going to do my special die cutting trick for this because I really want this to be centered nicely. So, for those of you who've never seen my special die cutting trick, let's do it. And if you have, then just bear with me. Okay, so what I have here is I have a little piece of peach cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the deer and the mushroom using the peach cardstock. This is a mid-weight cardstock at Gina K Design, so it's not quite as thick. It's not 100 pound, it's a 90 pound. Oh, yellow spots on the mushroom, Rise? That's a great idea. I should do that. I might do that. I'll add those. Why not? Okay, and then we're not going to keep these parts. Well, we'll keep them for something else. Be actually good for masking. If you wanted to do some blending around the deer, you could always just plop that on top and do some ink blending around it, and then it would just give you a little glow of white around the deer. So that's why I like to keep these, just in case I need them and I don't have to cut them again. And then I'm going to just cut this thing in half, or apart anyway, so that I have two, so I can do one at a time. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my deer and I'm going to lay this on top so that the white around the outside of the deer is perfectly even. You see that? Okay. And then I'm going to take a little washi tape and tape that down into place so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to drop this die into the hole. When I feel it click in there, I know it's in the right spot. Okay, so that's in the right spot. And now I'm going to tape that down just so that doesn't move. And now I'm going to cut that out. And that's going to make sure that my white edge is fairly even going around the outside, because I could see that it was even when I laid the little template I made down. Now, every once in a while, something shifts, but for the most part, this should be a nice, even image. And it is. And you know, this doesn't make that much of a difference when you're putting it on a white background. But when you're putting it on bright, vibrant colors, you really kind of notice that. And so it's nice to do this little extra tip just to make sure that it's nice and straight. I think I said nice about 40 times in that sentence. But it's live. That's what I do. Okay, so you can save this template. I almost recommend using like purple tape so that it's not so, it doesn't tear quite as much, but you can also just trim that off. And you can save your templates and use them again and again. Oh, Tom's getting a call. Woo. Okay. So now, oh, I think I froze, Tom. I froze.
Right, you're back up.
Okay. I was just texting you all in your comments on Facebook and on YouTube that we'll be right back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but the phone rang and then everything, you know how it goes around here. All right, back to the overhead. So I've taped the mushroom. So if you want to check that out, can you go to the overhead, Tom? Okay, there we go. So I've taped the little mushroom down, the little template, and I'm going to drop, let's go a little closer here. I'm going to drop the mushroom in there, make sure it's nice and snug. You can feel it click. That's how you'll know it's in there. You'll actually be able to feel it click. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties that we seem to be having lately. We are working on it, I promise. All right, did I do this backwards? No. Come on now. There we go. You got to feel it click. Hopefully this will work. All right. Live. It's the beauty of live. Things always happen. Okay, that looks pretty good. Pretty straight around, right? Okay. I think that got kind of blurry. Looked like I had been drinking or something. Okay, there we go. All right, so, and remember, it's really important to remember to take your dies out of these little templates because I have thrown one away. It's just a little too easy to do. So kind of get into the habit of that. And that, again, that's why I say sometimes it's fun to just die cut a whole bunch of things because you're kind of in the groove and you're focusing on just that one task. Then when you want to make cards, you've got tons of different things that you can do. Okay, let's assemble these parts now. So we'll get this going onto the black panel. All right. And then we're going to get the whole thing onto the card base. I have no idea where that got to. Here it is. Okay. Get that onto the card base. Now, because there's quite a bit of dimension on this card already, because we have 5 layers of background, I don't think I'm going to pop the deer up. I'm going to do him kind of flat, or her kind of flat. But then I will pop up the sun and the clouds, I think. We'll see how it looks. Maybe I won't pop the sun up, but I'll pop the clouds up, or the front cloud. This one can, I want this one to be flat. So let's get the sun down. Of course, I ran out of tape. And that one's empty too. So now you get to see how quick and easy it is to change a roll of Gina K Designs tape. So there's a little push button right here. We're going to push that. We're going to pull this old cartridge out. And then, that better not snag anything. And then that's going to go in. And then you just clip it shut like that. Super easy to change. I've had some of those bigger tape things, and I know a lot of you guys like them, but I felt like I was just wrestling with trying to figure out how to change the tape runner in those. All right, so this is going to get popped up with a foam square, but this is going to get taped right down, and we're going to line that up with the stitching. So just find where it looks perfect, and we'll lay that down. I really should have put a little tape on this side of it. There we go. Okay, so you see how that's all lined up perfectly now? There we go. And then we'll use a foam square to pop up the cloud on the other side, and that'll help balance out the extra dimension that we have down here at the bottom. This card is super fun. Okay, there we go. There. See what I mean? Very fun little card. Now we have our deer. Now we could make the deer standing on this hill, or we could bring her up here, but I kind of think I like her down here a little bit. And then we'll put the mushroom right next to her. And then we're going to do the greeting, and we're going to stamp it on a little flag, I think. I say that. We could stamp it right on the card. Boy, you know that makes me nervous, right? Stamping right on the card after 27 layers of cardstock. But it might look really cute. Let's see. Let me grab the greeting. Where did the stamp set go? So, you're so dear to me. Oh, that would be cute right on there, guys, wouldn't it? Should I brave it? It would be so cute right on there, and it wouldn't take away from anything, because I think if you put like a flag on here, I don't know, it kind of takes away from the cuteness of the little scene, right? You agree? No flag?
No flag.
No flag. All right. No flag. Get out of here. Okay, so let's get the deer in place. We're going to put everything in place, and we're going to stamp the greeting absolute last thing, which I never recommend, but I don't know exactly where to stamp it yet. So, all right, we'll put her up here like this. And then we'll do the little mushroom. Mushroom would be cute kind of coming out of the... Now we'll put it even with her feet. I think that's the best way. Even with her feet. Okay. And then the greeting will go down there. So this is a job for the Misty. I'm not taking any chances with this card at this point, because this is going to one of you, and I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so we have it in place in case we have to stamp it a second time. I'm not brave enough to just do this with a block today. Some days I am, not today. You're so dear to me. Okay, so that looks pretty even. Now, I'm going to be smart. I know it's rare, but I'm going to be smart. And I am going to stamp this with some black ink first a couple times to make sure I get a good impression. So I'm going to use one of my ink cubes. Please don't judge my rainbow order. I need to fix that. They overturned in my car when I was bringing them over here, and I never did anything about it. I just started making lives right away. Okay, let's see here. You're so dear to me. Do I want to do that, or do I want to do hello, dear friend? I think I want to do hello, dear friend. I feel like it's smaller and I don't know. Let's see. I want to see what that one looks like too, because I have time. It's only, I have 4 minutes. I'm going to use every bit of the 4 minutes. Hello, dear friend. I want to try that one. Okay. I was actually going to use like a big hello die. All right, I'm going to use hello, dear friend, I think. What I could do is I could use hello, dear friend, and inside I could stamp you're so dear to me. I froze again, Tom. Okay, we froze again, but we're back. So I'm going to use hello, dear friend on the outside, and then I would recommend, if you're going to make this card, say hello, dear friend, and then on the inside say you're so dear to me. That's just cute. Okay, here we go. Deep breath, everybody. Deep breath. Once you make this card once, you know how it's going to lay out. Stamp your greeting first. Okay, Chucky, I need you. Yes. Yes. I am going to stamp it a second time. I know that's crazy, but I just want it to be a little darker. And here's where it all ends. Show canceled. YouTube banned. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's what I wanted. I just wanted it to be a little brighter. Okay, so there is my mini slimline card. Yes, thank you. I know you were all praying for me and breathing along with me or holding your breath along with me. So I appreciate your wonderfulness out there and your patience with us as we froze a couple times today. We got to figure out what's making that happen. I'll tell you, I'm getting sick of it, and I know you guys are too. All right, well, so let's look at the card one more time. What do you think? Because, Tom, we've got to give it away. Got to give this one away. So I think both of us should be on screen. Can we do that? Can we both be on screen together like we were the other night? Pretty slick. There you are, and there I am. Hey, Tom.
Hello.
How's it going down there? You all right? Getting phone calls, tackling alarm systems, tackling a frozen video. You're a rock star. We love you. All right. So, Tom, do we have a winner for today's mini slimline card?
Today's winner of the Mini Slimline Hello Dear Friend card is Diana Vinzani.
Hey, Diana, congratulations. All right. Well, that's fun, Diana. All you have to do is send your full name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com and let them know you won the mini slimline card. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun today. I hope you like this card. I hope that you like the new kit and the new dies that we have and all of our beautiful illustrator sets. If you didn't get a chance to watch that video, it's the last video on my channel until this one, so you can go and watch. That was a long one too. We had a lot of fun. Tom and I will be back next Monday night with another new video featuring the kit. And I think what I'm going to do on Monday night, I'm not making any promises, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to use the Mandala Maker 2 and use that with the brand new large wreath builder. So we'll have a little wreath building fun, a little mandala making, kaleidoscope kind of card. And that should be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, you've got the weekend coming up to be crafty. I hope you all have a wonderful one. Stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.